Hi Leo, welcome back to Path of Enlightenment Tarot. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome back. For those of you who are new, welcome to the channel. I am Nicole. It is lovely to have each and every one of you. I am going to turn this down just a smidge. It's super bright. That's better. I feel like I was being blinded. Leo, this is going to be your September 2023 reading. Background's a little different. I'm in the process of redoing some things here in my space, so bear with me as I sit on the floor until I get some things organized here. Leo, just a quick thank you to everybody who's donated, made appointments with me. You guys are amazing. I cannot express how extremely grateful I am to each and every single one of you. So Leo, again, Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus cross watcher. If that is you, welcome to the channel, as well as this is going to be for the month of September. So Leo, let's just jump into it and see what is happening for you as we get closer to September. We've got that super blue moon happening on Wednesday, which is super exciting as it's clearing out a lot of things. And then, you know, you guys, if you're interested in booking readings with me, that information can be found in the description box below, as well as the about section of the page. And what else? Subscribe, like to the channel. Also, it helps circulate it. It's one of the greatest ways to show your support. Patience and focus. And as I'm preparing some stuff for the full moon here coming up with the space that I do some energy work in locally, that is a lot of it right now, is letting some things go. So being patient through these transitions that you are experiencing at this time. And then also the focus, right? We're in Virgo season, right? We are looking at the practicality, the logical aspects of how Virgo works. And we're dealing with this moon in Pisces as well, which is going to open us up to some emotional stuff, and a lot of emotional baggage release is what Spirit is saying right now. So Leo, let's see what is happening for you in the month of September. Leo, please Spirit, jump in. But as that jump in comes out, I also want to say to you, slow it down. Don't be so quick to move. I think that your energy right now is probably flailing around in multiple directions. And on the bottom with that, I see that focus card again. And that focus is a reminder to you that you're, to not act impulsively at this time. So for Leo, please Spirit, what else? Choice. Yeah, you might feel like you have multiple choices and detach. Ugh, Leo, slow. I think it's going to be very key for you right now, and soar, to discern what direction you're going and why, not to act impulsively at this time. Because I do feel like you've got all these multiple choices. It's kind of like looking at that multiple choice quiz, A, B, C, or D, right? And it's like, oh, the first one looks good. And it's like you're forgetting to review B, C, and D. Okay, so make sure you're looking at all of your options before you're jumping into something, because what I feel from this is that you may jump into something and then like a week later go, wait a second, and feel yourself pulling back, knowing that you probably should have looked at the other options behind the scenes before you took that initial dive into something in particular. For some of you, Spirit is saying this could have happened in the last week or two. For some of you, this is starting to occur. Others of you, you're going to see this start to play out. So it's like, Spirit is saying it's like the forecast. It's going to be different. You guys are all on different timelines. So just be aware and cognizant that you want to make sure that you're aligning. If you're going to jump into something, that you're aligning with it, that it is also part of divine timing. It's not just being so excited about a particular avenue, but to slow it down and really assess how these choices are going to potentially play out in the long run. Spirit is bringing to my attention partnerships. So, we look at Pisces, we look at that emotional energy as well. The partnerships that you are making, they may feel good. You may hit it off immediately with somebody, whether this is friends, lovers, whatever it might be. But I feel like the honeymoon phase to this happens really quickly. Like, some people can go through a honeymoon phase of friendship or relationships, sometimes years, sometimes it's 6 months. You usually see the 6 to 12 months being a thing. But to me, Leo, this feels very quick at it. And then again, week or two, you're going, you're almost like kind of backtracking. You're taking a step back and wondering what it is you're doing, why you're doing it that way, and saying to yourself, this may not quite be what I thought it was. They may say something, they do something that all of a sudden sends off this hold on, and your hands are up and you're taking a pause and you're stepping back. So be aware of any choices. Again, if you feel like you're struggling with those choices, take a step back and review the entire thing, not just making that profound jump. The detachment is that it's asking you to pay attention to past patterns. I know we talk about those patterns a lot on here, but they are a thing. We will recycle those patterns over and over and over and over again until we learn those lessons. There's something about this impulsiveness that tends to restrict you in the long run, and you're going to want to be aware of that. Is why it feels good, it feels familiar, so we jump into it. It's to trust the universe that the outcome is going to work out, but you have to let go of the attachment of the idea of that initial feeling that fires you up, for it to kind of like, it's like you go in hot and heavy and it's fizzling out as fast as it started. So again, Spirit is also directing me to work partnerships as well. Maybe you've seen something in somebody, you're like, oh yeah, we could totally do that. And then all of a sudden you're like sitting a week back, and maybe their Spirit's giving me procrastinating about something. And then you're like, well, wait a minute, like I needed to have this done yesterday. This isn't working. This isn't going to work. The time frame is not going to work out. So whatever reason they're giving that to me directly, that's a specific message for some of you out there. So it's like you're starting to take a step back after you initially jump in and go, wait a minute, I don't know how this works out for me. I don't know why I would do this. This isn't really making as much sense as I thought maybe a week or so ago it was. So just be very aware of how that is playing out in your 3D, okay? So mantras, mixing up the cards here. Got lots of different cards. I'm going to take the ones that came out of the deck. All right. Inviting ecstasy. There's that jump in. There's that impulsive action, right? And it falls between the jump in card and the choice card. That inviting ecstasy is, I am worthy of all of the pleasure my heart desires. And you absolutely are. However, it's about the discernment of what options you have. Leo, I have this deck of cards that has like the planets and the sun signs, and the moon and the sun and things like that. And I've started to pull these cards instead as a way to decide who's getting the next reading. Leo, your card on there is a number 5, and I look at this inviting ecstasy and I see 5 feathers. I think that's what those are supposed to be, your feathers. That's what it reminds me of. And those 5s are starting to initiate the space of change, to bring your awareness and realizations to how you have in the past impulsively made these decisions and how they maybe have not served your highest good, because there is a sense with this that you're trying to control the outcome of something that's going on around you. Rewiring the nervous system. We talk about reprogramming those patterns, reprogramming all of those things. It's to move you from the 5 to the 6 when you look at the tarot. It is to move you from the conflict, the internal struggles, the fight, the feeling without, to move you into the 6 of something to celebrate, some successes that come along with that, something that is reciprocal to you at the end of the day, that you move away from the things that are not serving you. 8:18 on the clock there. So to rewire the nervous system, when we talk about this jumping in and these choices, we have to understand the emotional and the mental aspects that we bring into these choices and this jumping in with us, right? So it says, I find my strength in surviving my traumas. So you may be reliving or replaying a familiar feeling from the past with another person. Again, whether it's work partnerships, friendships, romantic partnerships as well. But the idea is to detach. It's like, you jump into these things, you get involved in these things or these people, these situations, and it's taking that step back long enough to see the big picture as to how this is working out or playing out for you in the long run. When you detach, it gives your nervous system the opportunity to start to heal, to reprogram, to regenerate into a healthier space for you. That there is the key takeaway to this. I feel like you're going to start to learn how to dissect these parts of you. It's like that self-awareness of, why do I do X, Y, and Z? What am I trying to prove to myself by doing X, Y, and Z? How will this change if I do this differently? And what is the outcome that in the long run I truly desire moving forward? So Leo, big messages there for you guys in just those few cards. So let's see, past, present, and future energy for you, Leo, and see how this plays out. So Leo, I don't know what you're excited about, but I will say your excitement is extremely overwhelming even to me. I'm going to put these back in the deck. This, in There was a lot of yellow there. So yeah, storm warning. Be careful. Be careful with what you're jumping into. The excitement that I feel in this reading is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. But again, that it kind of tempers me back down and says, hold on a second here. Wait a minute. A 10, endings, beginnings. We're going from the 5 to the 10 because something here is trying to cycle out for you, and this absolutely has to do with your patterns and behaviors, with how you relate to other people. All right, so yeah, there's choices again. That adjacent possibilities is all about the choice, right? Door to spirit. Spirit is trying to awaken you to a new pathway moving forward through the rest of the year, through the last quarter of the year. All right. So that storm warning, it comes in like a tornado, right? It kind of comes in, wipes things out, creates some catastrophe. And those impulsive decisions, when we're not thinking it through, will absolutely create those situations, those ultimate tower moments, essentially. For Leo in the present, please, Spirit. Yeah, I'm going to take both of these because of the way they fell out. Talked about that 5 and that 6, right? 23 and 33, that's a 5 and a 6. It's trying to move you, all tied up in those choices, and door to romance. Their journey is to walk away from those things that are not serving of you. Anything that makes you feel stuck, and I do feel like, again, you're getting into something and going, whoa, pump the brakes. It may pertain to, again, you know, I talked about the partnerships, the relationship aspects. For some of you, this may be somebody comes in and gives you a lot of excitement about the way they feel about you, or they light you up somehow. They may have just said the perfect thing to you. And then it's like, oh, wait a second. Like, you know, you go home and you start to really think about it, and you get triggered by something that is from the past. And you're like, I see the similarities in this situation, and I don't know that this works, because at the bottom of the deck, we've got attachment, right? And then in the future energy, you've got strategy. It is detaching, rewiring, right? It is working through and strategizing how you've gotten to this point and where it is that you want to go when you move forward. You know, so again, it's just the idea of being presently aware of what is transpiring there. And again, that breaks down to a 3, that 21 to a 3, that has to do with the external circumstances of the self, how you work with others, how you play with others, how you engage with others, collaborating, celebrating, you know, whatever, the pain that is felt from the past when it comes to other people and those external sources. And there's the attachment to those behaviors and those ideas. Okay, so let's go ahead and clarify these cards. Like, I got the chills, goosebumps, whatever you want to call them, Leo. But this is a pretty straightforward reading. All the cards are supporting the others. I love it. 12:44 there on the clock. All right, storm warning, Spirit. What does this mean for Leo? King of Wands. There you be. And I see those energies a lot of the times. The Chariot card fell out, right? And when it fell on my leg there, it spun. And that's kind of how I feel with this, is like you may be in a space where you're kind of spiraling out of control with certain levels of the self. And it's like you're trying to assert your passion in a particular direction, but there's so many different ways it could go. There's so many options, so many choices through that. And we talk about that tornado that's on the storm warning card. It spirals, right? It can spiral out of control and cause mass destruction if you don't know what direction you're going. It's like driving a car, right? Page of Wands. It's like you're trying to jumpstart some new opportunity. And I talked about, I don't know why I'm getting this vibe with this, but with the Queen of Swords underneath, you know, that is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. But I got the feeling of the earth vibes of Virgo with that practicality, right? It's asking you at this time, or in the past, again, timelines are going to be different for all of you, the practicality of the offers that you're putting out there with people. Somebody may have come in and made you an offer, and that offer, whether it's business, love, you know, it could be anything, right? Buying a car, as we have the Cancer and the Chariot sitting there. But whatever this is it's like they're trying to sweeten the pot for you at the end of the day to bring you back in. But you're starting to be aware. For some of you, this may pertain to your financial successes and rewards, where your investments are going as well. So if you're dealing with money, I would tell you to hold off. You know, you look at a car, of course, you know, just using the car as the example. But if you're thinking about buying a new vehicle and it's got all the bells and the whistles and you're like, hell yeah, I can see myself cruising down the highway in this thing and it feels great. But then you've got to become very practical And that's what I'm getting from this Queen of Swords, to be very practical and discerning, right? Logical about what it is that you're doing. Does it make sense in the long run? And if for all of you, this is going to fit into your lives differently. So, of course, place it where it fits, discern all of the messages. But it's like, you know that, maybe if you're making this investment, you're not quite where, if it's pertaining to money, you may not be quite where you want to be. And you've got some more mountains to climb. You've got some more struggles to face. If this is relationships, Spirit is giving me, you may have 3 people to choose from, and it's like, you may be jumping on that first one because the other person, who is really, at the end of the day, more interested, is more laid back and isn't so in your face. And Spirit is giving me, you may be dealing, again, with earth signs. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but from Spirit, it's more intuitive than anything. But you need to ground yourself. You need to slow down this movement that you're making so that things don't spiral in the long run. And it would be, Spirit showing me the 15. That's toxic energies. That's the Devil card, breaks down to a 6 as well. They're trying to move you into this 6 energy of what is equal and reciprocal, what is fair and what is balanced for you in the long term. So they're really asking you at this time to take a look at the long-term solutions to what it is that you're reviewing right now, and not to be impulsive. So this all tied up indoors to romance. Page of Swords, that is the card of communication right there. Knight of Pentacles, you may feel like someone's reneging on some kind of offer towards you, and that is leaving you in that 5 of Cups energy. That there's the card of Scorpio, and you've got the Empress. I feel like in the back of your mind, you feel like you have done a lot of work on the self, as we've got the 7 of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the Empress on the bottom. So the communication that you're getting from certain people or certain situations right now may not be super appealing to you. Again, I feel like whatever this is, it's sticking so steadfast with me in this reading, and the energy is that, again, once you get a second, there's something that, as I said earlier, somebody says or does, and there's that says and does, right? It's a reneging of the offer. It's no longer slow moving. It's that impulsiveness of, needing to slow it down even more, and that communication breakdown through this. Like, you're starting to see the actions and the words not quite lining up, and that's leaving you in this 5 of Cups, this regret. It's like, you have this 3 cups. I told you, you might have 3 options, right? You may have felt like these 3, like, if these 3 didn't work out, I guess would be the best way to put it. If these 3 didn't work out, you're missing the fact that there's other opportunities and growth past that 5 again into that 6 that's going to be better suited for you. Don't forget, you may feel down on yourself. This may be a fleet of the confidence, as well as I've seen that bright yellow, that Leo energy coming through in the cards as I was shuffling earlier when I started with the other deck here. It may just take a very large hit on your confidence and your heart space, that you're feeling some regret, some sorrow, some loss attached to this, that it's not giving back to you. It's leaving your head hanging. It's making you feel miserable to some extent, because you're not liking what it is that you're seeing or what it is that you're hearing, maybe even feeling at this time as well. So you just be very much aware that Spirit is just asking you to take a pause. Take a pause at the end of the day. And what is this strategy about, please, Spirit, for the future for Leo? Talked about that 6, and there's another one. Hold on a second here. Oh, they're all over the place here. 9 of Pentacles, again, standing on your own. There's that 6 of Swords. I talked about that 6, the 5 of Pentacles. Leo, I feel like whatever this is, you're going to bounce back pretty quickly. You are going to slow it down. That 8 of Wands in the reverse is to slow down. But I think that the challenge for you internally is to stay out of the woe is me, the self-pity. This is a spiritual lesson at the end of the day. This is for you to stay out of the self-pity, because it's like you have an idea of what look, there's the 6, the 9, the 10 of Cups. You know what feels good to you, but this is, Spirit just keeps reiterating, impulse control. And it's like you jump into it, you get defensive because you see something, hear something, feel something that makes you quickly uncomfortable. You get down on yourself, and then you shut back down, and there's no communication. The communication that needs to happen is within you. You got the 5 and the 6 again there. I keep reiterating that. It's like moving you from the 5 to the 6. You've got the 23, the 33, 5 and 6, the 5 of Cups, the 6 of Swords. It's trying to move you into calmer waters that pulls you out of this negative idea of lack, to remind you that you are absolutely abundant on your own. It's like, I almost feel too, Leo, like you're trying to skip certain steps. There may be certain steps in your healing processes that Spirit is asking you to finally step into, and that may be that 7, that may be that 8, so you can get to that 9, right? The 7 is evaluating your choices, seeing what options are available to you out there. That 8 is to put in the work, right? You've planted the seeds at the 7 and there's an understanding at the level of 7. At 8, you're putting in the work and the effort. At 9, you're starting to reap the rewards of what it is. You cannot skip steps in the healing process. And I think that this, you find this excitement, you get to this excitement, and you just want to go with it because it feels so damn good in the moment. But then to sit back and look, you realize there's parts of a particular situation that are missing for you, that had you slowed it down, you wouldn't be feeling this mass disappointment or feel the need to kind of, bow down and head out the other direction as a result. So I think a very, very important message for you. But I think what you need to recognize is how far you've come to, Leo. I think that's a large part of the sword that's sitting underneath here, that it's time to release these last little pieces of a particular stage of your life, that it will allow you to move into that abundance. 2112, again, that third party energy there. It will allow you to release and move into something way beyond this impulsive activity. And you could be feeling this impulsiveness. We've got all these retrogrades, communication, Mercury just went retrograde as well. That affects our ability to communicate. So you may have misinterpreted, or maybe somebody else misinterpreted you, right? Reverse the roles as it applies. But it's like you're going through what I'm going to call, and Spirit is calling, flings. So it, again, doesn't have to be a romantic thing. It can be business. It can be friendships. It can be, like, you may talk to somebody for a couple of weeks and just never talk to them again. It's just the energy that surrounds this situation right now at this time. All right, Spirit, what is the advice for Leo moving forward? Oh, they threw you 2, so we'll take them. The first one says, to the celestial mountain, and this is the Kuan Yin deck. You have the ability to invoke divine power, to call the celestial mountain so that you might be gifted with the spiritual energy you need to attain your goals, permitting beings that love you unconditionally to help you in an expression of spiritual empowerment. You empower the divine forces that can assist you to come to your aid and help you manifest your visions. And then sound the fierce flute. Discernment empowers you to make choices that are aligned with your intentions. Like a fierce sounding flute cutting through all vibrations with purity and intent, your discernment allows you to stay true to your values without getting caught up in distraction. To grow spiritually through love, joy, peace, and abundance, make high vibrational choices that feel good to you. Just be discerning that it needs to feel the right feel good. Okay, and I think a lot of you will understand what I'm saying by that. I hope so, anyhow. You talk, and I just seen this the other day, actually, now that I think about it. Butterflies and anxiety can tend to feel the same, but you have to discern if it's a good anxiety or a bad anxiety. That's the difference here, and that's that discernment and the choices that you have to make. Does it feel so good because it's familiar to you and it makes you feel like home, which home in that regard is not always the best place for us? Or does it light you up, make you feel good because it's got potential possibility for things that are going to be very different for you, and it's a new path forward? That's the thing I think you need to recognize and understand, that Spirit has your back. Spirit is there to help you attain these goals, but you have to make the free will choice in how you're going to address these things. Okay? Leo, I'm going to stop right there with this reading. I think this reading was profound for you guys. I hope you find it as useful and as valuable as I think it is for you. Again, if you want to dive into your personal situations, you can reach out to me through the description box below. Excuse me. Or the About section of the page. Also check me out at holisticallyzenwv.com for a full list of products and services as well. Leo, have a fantastic September. I will see you guys soon with a new series of videos. Sending you all of my love and light. Take care. Bye-bye.